I walked into this Danish thrift store thinking I was just gonna do a quick what $10 will buy you video, and it turned into something completely different. I was swept away and I ended up with at least 6 design rooms being developed in my head, and I can't wait to share it with you. I didn't buy much because of course I'm full-time traveling and I just don't have the space in my suitcase, but boy, if I was gonna stay here, I have 6 rooms ready to go. And the good part is I'm gonna take you with me and show you what I found. Now imagine this. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and the rain is tapping on the window. You have a nice cozy plant and candle by your side, and you're thinking, I think a great cup of coffee or tea would be just perfect right now. Well, here's what we found. Just imagine yourself sipping your tea or your coffee from these wonderful glass cups with wire handles. The little spoons are so cute, I just love them. And you could pair that with any of the following teapots or coffee pot. And since you're in Denmark, surely there's a Copenhagen Birkie waiting for you. Maybe you decide to read a book. Maybe you're just sitting there contemplating how great your life is. I think any of these items would pair well together and give you such a cozy coffee corner that you just wouldn't want to leave. Now, if you're into slow traveling, slow cooking, or slow anything, this next scenario is just for you. I'm calling it the Hygge knitting nook. I mean, there's just nothing more cozy than sitting there knitting a swanky scarf and feeling all the fuzzy textures and having skeins of yarn around you. At the thrift store, there were tons of knitting needles. I mean, I've never seen so many knitting needles in my life, of all shapes, sizes, materials, lots of yarn, a few baskets. You'd probably have to keep your eye out for other baskets, but that would be so cute to have a chunky throw next to you as you knit and purl away. You could even have some books handy to consult while you're sipping your coffee. While I was at the thrift shop, I found these adorable knitted socks that somebody made, and there was even a set of a little tiny baby hat and baby booties. They were adorable. I also found this knit sweater, not knitted by a grandma, but a knit sweater, still with the price tag on. That would kind of complete the circle of the whole knitting nook. Now, I didn't really expect to find anything mid-century modern in a Danish thrift shop, but then again, when you think about it, the whole Scandi look and the mid-century modern really do go well together, or maybe there's an overlap there, or maybe it's just in my mind. But I found some items that I think would make a great mid-century modern look. Let's start with this beauty, the starburst clock. I don't think it's authentic mid-century modern, but it definitely understood the assignment. I love the atomic spokes and those bold little balls on the end. This clock is a conversation starter, even if it might not keep time. And I think this chair and ottoman would be perfect. It's modern, but the design seems like it was held over in a time capsule. Tweedy, boxy, understated. You could plop this in a 1964 Swedish film and it would not look out of place. Now imagine this room. Clean white walls, natural wood accents, the chair in the corner with a mustard throw, the clock ticking softly above a teak bookshelf, a small chrome teapot on the credenza. Just because. This look is calm, intentional, and quietly stylish. Like someone who alphabetizes their vinyl, but also knows how to make a mean sourdough. If you want to see the items that didn't fit perfectly into my little scenarios, stick around to the end where I'll put up a hodgepodge of items and their pricing. I want you to get the full experience. Okay, before I walked into the thrift store, I expected to see lots of candle holders, white ceramic, knickknacks and bowls. I even expected a lot of blue and white. But what I didn't expect was to find a full-size, vintage, colorful accordion. I mean, what's going on here? It was just sitting there calling out for someone to play it, and boy, I really wish that I could. I spotted this accordion just a few steps after I got into the store, and I just couldn't believe it was sitting there. To me, it looks like an old soul at a secondhand cocktail party. The thing is, it isn't just a quirky thrift store item. I think this could be the centerpiece for a whole fun, artsy music corner in any house. I saw lots of great artwork that I think this could be paired with. I think you could also frame up some sheet music and use that for art. If you had other instruments, you could hang those as well or display them. If you could find some teak speakers, wouldn't that be fabulous? I think this accordion, with all of its beautiful buttons and colors, would be absolutely perfect displayed in your music room. I feel like it's giving off a Parisian cafe meets Copenhagen basement jam session. Stumbling across this accordion is proof that thrift shopping isn't really about finding a certain item. It's about digging up memories, wondering what the stories are behind them, and thinking about the what ifs. Like, what if I stayed in Denmark and learned to play the accordion? It could happen. Now, I'm not saying that I've considered moving to the Danish countryside just to be able to store my root vegetables in terracotta pots. But after this next find, I'm not saying that I'm not gonna either. I don't know if Danish cottagecore is a thing, but it should be. These vessels might be the most charming mystery items I've seen in a thrift store. I had no idea what they were. These are rustic terracotta pots with lids with holes in the sides towards the bottom. And each one is embossed with a Danish word. Kartofler, hvidløg, and log. Translation, potatoes, onions, and garlic. This is the holy trinity of cozy cooking. They're not just cute, they're functional. The holes allow airflow to keep your root vegetables fresh, and clay keeps things cool. And the vibe, pure Nordic farmhouse. Here's how I picture these. You stagger them in the corner of your countertop. Hopefully there's a window with sunshine coming in. You have a vintage towel hanging there, or maybe a rustic wooden cutting board with some vintage utensils. Or maybe you want to put a little flower in front of it, or dried herbs. With these vessels, you don't even need a fancy pantry. They can sit right on your countertop and look fabulous. How would you style these? Would you actually use them for potatoes, onions, and garlic? Would you plant plants in them? Or would you just use them for visual eye candy? You know what never goes out of style in Denmark? Or anywhere really? Blue and white. Whether it's minimalist, modern, or vintage collectibles, that clean Scandinavian palette always seems to work. And this thrift store had it all. I think you could easily mix and match so many blue and white. You could mix vintage with modern and you could pull it off perfectly. I spotted these vintage Bing Grøndahl plates tucked away onto a little shelf like little porcelain postcards. These used to be high-end collectibles and now about $3 a piece. I think they're still charming and wonderfully Danish. Let's just take a little spin around the thrift shop and look at the things that I found that were blue and white. I like this square little candle holder. That would mix and match really well. This is what I love about the Scandi style. It doesn't scream. It just seems to kind of know what it's doing. Mix old with new, floral with geometric, folksy with minimalist, and it all works together. There's just something so trustworthy about blue and white together. Like, you know, the person with blue and white dishes also has backup candles and always remembers to buy milk. Do you have blue and white in your home? Which path did you go down? Traditional, vintage, or did you mix them together, and how did it turn out? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. So here's the truth. I didn't walk out of there with a cart full of goods, and I didn't redecorate my rental. Sadly, I did not bring home the accordion or the Tweety chair or those wonderful terracotta vessels that were just dying to jump into my arms and be styled into a cottagecore pantry. But that's not to say that I left without buying anything. I did buy this absolute gem of a Danish bowl. Look at these cute Danish flags. I love it. I'm not sure what I'm going to put into it, and I might have to wear it as a hat on the way back to the US because I don't know about the weight of things, but I just had to have this. And then the apron. Look at this. Printed with 10 charming and maybe slightly awkward Danish couples in traditional dress with city names underneath. I think this screams 1973 souvenir, and I'm all about it, and when I wear it, I'm going to remember all the wonderful times I had in Denmark. This is what I love about thrifting in other countries. It's not just about finding things, it's kind of imagining who used to own these, what the memories they had with these, and sometimes you have a whole lot of fun looking around and creating all these imaginary rooms in your imaginary apartment and just dreaming and thinking about what it would be like. Let me know in the comments which one of these little styling vignettes appealed to you. Which one could you see yourself bringing home and making into a little cozy corner in your house? Would it be the cottagecore, the mid-century modern, or that fabulous accordion? Subscribe for more cozy travel and unexpected adventures. And here's the place where I'm going to put in all the items that didn't really fit into the rest of the video, but I wanted you to see what else was at the thrift store. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to see you on the next one.